Who would have thought two interstate teams would have such a big rivalry? When I tell you Sydney is involved, you might think about the West Coast Eagles or Hawthorn. Both had great encounters over a long period of time with the Swans, but it's Essendon that in recent times and further in the past have produced not only the closest encounters but bizarre in-game events. No other pairing of teams in the AFL have assembled the strange history of these two. Their 2024 Round 2 meeting added to the legacy. First of all, the general heat in the game was great. The newly branded Essendon Edge was on full display. However, during one of the scuffles, this strange incident happened.
Starting positions, let's go. Holding.
Free kick.
Let it go. Out. Take your kick. Take your kicks. Bring me the ball.
Going to be enormous, isn't it?
Essendon runner Travis Cloke, who was a two-time All-Australian for Collingwood, bolted onto the field to separate the Essendon players. It was pretty innocent and he was trying to do the right thing, stopping the niggle and making sure the Bombers' free kick stayed theirs. But at his size, storming onto the field and accidentally pushing the wrong player could have had a more volatile outcome. I'm glad he wasn't fined, but a similar action again is probably going to warrant some punishment from head office. At least out of it, Cloke has probably become the most well-known runner in the competition, throwing the big collision with Peter Wright and Harry Cunningham, and it's fair to say the latest edition of Swans vs Bombers was just as eventful as the rest of them. The most famous of the weird incidents occurred in their Round 8 meeting in 2019. It was a close battle the entire night and like so many games came down to the siren. Adam Sard was streaming forward but corralled well by Sydney, and with a second left in the game and the score 77-72, he chipped the ball well outside 50 to teammate David Meyer. It was a long shot as a goal was needed. David Meyer came in to kick.
It is the one bloke out there that's got a sniff. It's fanciful, I know, and it's not going to do it, and Sydney have broken the drought.
It wasn't even close as Meyer attempted a drop punt instead of a tall. However, instead of the game ending, the controversy was just beginning. On replay views, Dane Rampy was put on full notice.
Stringer notices it straight away, and then after the kick's finished, you watch the number of Essendon players led by Stringer, and I think it's Cale Hooker comes in late, really remonstrate with the umpires here. So I don't know the rule here, Hamish, and you're looking it up at the moment, is you're not allowed to shake the goalpost and you're not allowed to put someone on your back either to, affect the...
17
the
11, shaking goalpost or behind post. 17 11.1 free kicks, shaking goalpost, behind post, unless, let me just go down a bit. A free kick shall be awarded against a player or official who intentionally shakes a goal or behind post, either before or after a player has disposed of the football. 17 11.2, taking free kick. The following shall apply.
For whatever reason, he decided to jump on and hold onto the post. The umpires warned him and he did get down, but it was so bizarre. It wasn't really a laughing matter, however. By the exact letter of the law, it should have been a free kick to Essendon. Although AFL CEO Gillan McLachlan dismissed the incorrect decision, citing the situation as reasoning for not paying a free kick. He said, "Well, yes, technically it is a free kick, but I think like all things, it's context, where and when. The ball hadn't been kicked and it was a warning. Get down or it's a free kick, in advance of the free kick." Maybe it is a bit technical, but I'm sure Essendon and some greater football fans weren't too happy. Later in the week, Rampy was fined $1,000 for his action and also copped another $10,000 penalty, half of which was suspended, for saying an umpire sounded like a little girl. I guess Rampy had one of those off nights, and he was lucky that the set of umpires on the night were in his favour. Imagine if the free kick was paid and Essendon won the game. Just 2 years before, the Swans triumphed at the end too. This one was a real miracle. It's hard to believe, but after the 2016 Grand Final, Sydney were once again one of the favourites for the premiership. However, their first 6 games ended all in the same result, with losses. They did regroup, and leading into their round 14 game at the SCG against Essendon, they sat with 5 wins and 7 losses. To them, it was almost a must win against the Bombers, who were in the top 8 with 6 wins and 6 losses. It was a classic 8-point matchup. The Swans led by a couple goals entering the last quarter before Essendon took control of the game.
What you said, Doc. Looks good. Looks really good. It's hard to believe, isn't it? They've kicked the last 7.
With a touch over 4 minutes and 30 seconds left, Essendon were leading by 19 points. But a goal to Florent, touch behind to Franklin, and goal to Newman had the margin at 6 points with over a minute of game time left. At this stage, the Bombers were cooked. Franklin launched from near 60 metres out for a point. Surely with half a minute left, the Bombers could hold on for a critical win.
8 seconds left. Can the Bombers maintain possession? Have 5 points up, and there's this last play. Bill Chambers, ball in the back, kick by Redby. Mark, Rowan. It is unbelievable.
What a disaster. From the smothered Goddard kick-in and the one-on-one in the goal square. John Longmire admitted some luck was involved and clearly was in shock from the coach's box. No doubt they stole the game away from Essendon. 3 other meetings also came down to the final siren. Don't worry Essendon fans, because this one did go in your favour, and this time the game was played at the now Marvel Stadium. Round 20 2011 saw both sides on 38 points, fighting for top 8 with only a few rounds left. The Swans cut the 7-point 3/4 time margin back to just 2 points. Kennedy received a rush handball and whacked the ball on his foot. It swirled up in the air and Adam Goods judged it the best. It looked good off his boot, but just swayed to the left side of the goalpost. Both sides ended up making the 2011 final series, with Sydney reaching a semi-final and the Bombers losing in the elimination final. The following year, Essendon almost pulled off a miracle more extreme than the one we saw when Gary Rowan kicked the game-winning goal. Round 11 2012 was set at Marvel Stadium but looked over. With 2 minutes left in the third term, Jared McVeigh's goal put the travelling Swans up by 48 points. James Hird's stern words did something. By the 9.5 minute mark, a Hocking goal had the lead at just 22 points, and in another 4 minutes, the lead was just 4 points. It was set up for a historic comeback. Sydney's Jetta gold, and then Watson once again fired back. 4-point game and 2 minutes left.
Myers is going to have to rely on a mark. It'll be a mark. Dempsey's going to mark it. Siren will sound. He's played on. Umpire's called play on. The umpire has called play on. Margaret says sorry, you played on.
It was a more than makeable shot, and pure luck denied the chance for Dempsey to win the game. It would have been a long shot, but at least some shot. The final of the key events between the teams is the Tony Lockett point. It had by far the biggest consequence of all their matchups. The 1996 preliminary final saw the Swans host the Bombers at a sold-out SCG. Now for context, Lockett missed the qualifying final due to a knee complaint, but his season was strong, kicking 114 goals and winning the Coleman medal. He even needed a late clearance to play in the match, and he had a quiet night which saw him total 9 disposals and just 1 goal before one of his career-defining moments.
No one has moved in the crowd.
He made the journey easy, and it's one of the incredibly rare occasions that any score will do to win a game. The Swans did get dealt with by North Melbourne in the grand final, but in hindsight, it was the change starter for all the future events between the two teams. Excluding the arch rivals like Collingwood and Carlton, or Adelaide and Port Adelaide, these two sides are surprisingly well up there when it comes to close and fascinating encounters.